had that phase of self-discovery. But for those people who do not know what their story is, how best can they define that story and, hopefully project that to the MBA admissions committee via their essay? So Lola?
Yes, so there needs to be a level of reflection. I don't know when people are applying, are looking to apply, but you need to give yourself enough time. And I think that's the problem. So much on the GMAT that they realize that that's just half of the work done at that point. Then the next phase is they start giving themselves maybe 2 months to write an essay. And an essay is not just sitting down and writing it. I think most of the work is done when you reflect back into your life, who you are as a person. And people say that, but they don't really understand the gravity of that statement, right? And I knew that I needed to take some time to really, even like on a daily basis, reminisce on my life, reminisce on what I want to achieve in this world. Who am I as an individual? And then start saying to yourself, okay, I'm a product analyst. I did my undergraduate in mathematics and this and that. Then that was my essay. That became my essay, essentially. I don't have passion for just writing numbers or coding or doing things of that nature. That is not my passion in life. I realized my passion at this time, at this age. It's really exactly what it is, a story of your life, but write it in a way that is compelling, right? And I think that's another level of work that you have to do to now start putting everything in a compelling and clear manner. That was exactly what I wrote. I was no longer passionate about something that I thought I was passionate about for the last 15 years of 20 something years of my life. Now I'm at a stage where I am looking to now take a new leaf, where I am going to step into the best person I am, best part of myself, essentially. I mean, those are not the words I use, but those were the things I was thinking about. And that was how I constructed my essay. I am going to now utilize all the skill set I have gained over the past few years. Product management skill set, my ability to have able to mentor so many other people, my ability to have done that, do this, do that. And now I'm going to channel all of that to this new phase of my life. And here is how I have perceived myself being able to do so. And also this is where MBA fits within that spectrum. Things of that nature is real. And you can be the one to reflect on who you are. That's the advice I give to people.
Thank you so much. For me, Ukeme, your thoughts on discovery, self-discovery, and essay?
Yeah, I appreciate Fumi's answer, and I think it's spot on. Spending time to reflect is excellent. I would say in thinking about your goals too, maybe the engineer in me was also trying to be very pragmatic. So I also chose goals. So the first thing you should know from a practical standpoint is if you write in your essay, for example, that you want to be a product manager with SpaceX, it does not mean that when you come into Kellogg or whichever school, the admissions guys will be chasing you to ensure that that's what you actually do. And so what did I do? I wasn't as self-reflective as Lola. Rather, I just chose a goal that was achievable. So I was working in healthcare, in corporate strategy within IVF. And so I just wrote a story about primary healthcare and how I wanted to change the world, change Nigeria, by working in primary healthcare. I knew it was 50-50. There was a part of me that wanted to stay in healthcare. There was a part of me that wanted to explore product management. But if you looked at my story, the healthcare goal was more believable. I had more things to write because I had worked in healthcare for 2 years. So I chose a goal that was very pragmatic. You would never read my essay and wonder that I'm trying to get into product management now. So on the one hand, like Lola said, reflect and write about what you really feel. But on the other hand, you can also choose a goal that is achievable, that aligns up with what you have done so far. Because the admissions guys want to get people in that would succeed. They want you to be able to boost their employment statistics when you get to business school. So you also need to write an essay that shows that whatever goal you've chosen is a goal you can achieve relatively well, provide with the brand of the school and with the support that the school's career services will give you. So that's one way to think about a goal. The second way to think about a goal is to think about what exactly is the essay prompt, which brings us back to the first question. Most schools would have an essay prompt. So look at the essay prompts. So I browsed out the essay prompt of Kellogg. Kellogg says, we want people, we want brave leaders, who have created lasting value. So when you see that prompt, it already tells you that the story you need to write about should be a story that shows where you demonstrated braveness, you demonstrated leadership, and you actually created value. So it has already framed it. So that kind of story is not where you should say, well, I'm just daydreaming. They're asking you something very specific. So your creativity and your story would depend on the prompt that the school is giving you. Yeah, I'll stop there.
Well, thank you, Ukeme and Lola, for your very insightful answers. In case you're just joining us, this is the Lane webinar, and today we are talking about application essays for MBA. Now, Pablo Picasso said that action is the foundational key to all success. In terms of for people who are just getting to start their essays, how best do they start the essays, and how can they, overcome the roadblocks that come with, not knowing what to write? For me.
Yeah, how do you best start your essay? And I think that is when you should probably start using a lot of resources at your fingertip. I mean, I happen to have had a friend that graduated from Wharton. My best friend is a JD MBA grad from Wharton. So I was like, yo, send me all your essays that you wrote from even the ones that are not related to my prompt to the ones that are related to my prompt that could help me. I asked her that maybe she had stuff from other people that she can share. And then I started reaching out to people too. And I was like, I need help with my essay. I'm looking for inspiration. And that was exactly how I got my inspiration, to be honest. Like, you start reading people's prompt and how they start their prompt, and you're like, whoa, I never thought of that, And me, I'm not really the best writer. So I knew that, okay, this is my weakness. Now I need to kind of find a way to overcome that. So yeah, inspiration is everything. Sure, don't be afraid of asking people. Even if you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, the worst thing they will say is no. So really, if you don't ask, you don't even get anything, right? So that's what I told myself. I reached out to people on LinkedIn that I knew that were either alums of universities that I wanted to go to, or the ones that were not. And I say, you know what, can I ask you for a favor? Can you send me your essay? Some of them said no, but some of them say yes. But at the end of the day, I was able to get a few yeses and then start my process from there.
Okay, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I like her approach of just getting a kaleidoscope of different essays and coming up with yours. My approach was slightly different though. I started by examining the prompt. So I just tried to be structured, like what's the essay prompt? If you read the essay prompt, you will be able to come up with 2 or 3 bullet points that define what the school is looking for. And then think about the school itself. So like Kellogg is collaborative. There's a lot of partying. We work in teams, 247. So of course, teamwork and collaboration is something. And then I began to think, what are the stories I have where I excelled at teamwork and still created some type of lasting value? And I just wrote out the essay first. And the reason why is that the way my own mind works, if I was to look at someone's essay before starting to write mine, it may affect my originality and I might copy the style. Some other people may be more mentally resilient than I am. And like Lola, they will read someone's essay and still be original. So I put my own thoughts to paper first. I found one story that was solid, built that out first before I began to get feedback from others so that to read true to myself. So if you read my essays and you watch my video essay, there's some congruence that, okay, this is this guy's personality. It's really him. And he's not an admissions consultant that wrote it for him and all that. So that's the approach I use.
Great. Now, one of the things both of you mentioned is, ensuring that you get started and you just, lay all that out. But it's also important that in doing what is right, sometimes it's not doing what is easy or what is popular or what people maybe hint for you to do and following your gut and all that. So my next question, what are the do's and don'ts of MBA essays? I mean, a lot of times we do things wrong in expressing ourselves on paper. So do's and don'ts of essays, what are they? What are they in terms of MBA application?
I can go first.
Okay.
I talk a lot about this actually because I think like when you are not used to, when you don't really understand the audience that you are trying to write to, it's easy to kind of write things from our own perspective of what we think they should know.
Mm. Oh, I guess Fumi is no longer on the call. So while we wait for her to join back, Ukeme.
Yeah, I'll say the do's of writing a good MBA essays. First of all, your essay should be sophisticated. I tell people, particularly if you're applying to a very top school, you want your essay to read like somebody who's business school material. So you should just ensure that your essay is rich. I will pause and allow Lola. I think she had a train of thought there, and I do well. Oh, I should go on. Okay, so it should be sophisticated. That's the way I think about it. And then the question someone will ask is, what does that mean? Can you disambiguate the word? I think the first thing is your story should have a setup. So a setup means a part of your story should tell us about yourself. Who are you? How have you gotten to where you are? The first thing. And then the second thing in your story, whether it's a personal statement or there's a prompt, is what's your goal? What's your goal in life? And what's the goal you were trying to achieve in the story? So suppose we have an essay prompt that says, tell us about the time or tell us what matters to you and why. I can do a setup and say, oh, I grew up in Lagos, Nigeria, and the first time I had a computer was when I was in secondary school. And so giving children access to computing is something that matters to me. And one example that really demonstrates this was when I worked on a project with UNICEF to provide 20 computers to each school in Lagos State. That example, that story, wow, this video is distracting actually.
No, it's fine.
Okay, and so that's where was I? And so just creating the
The
goal, saying
story.
where is the goal? What in that story or that example that happened in the past? I was trying to get computers to secondary school students. What was the objective of that project? So you want to write a story that has a goal. If you watch a good movie, it has a goal. And then you also want to put in some level of complication. What were the obstacles you faced? So like Lola, she worked as a product analyst when she was doing mathematics. And even though she didn't like it, what was the obstacle? How did she overcome disliking math and still doing well enough to have a good job? How did you conquer that obstacle? And then what did you learn from the whole process? So your story, a good story that has sophistication, should have some level of introspection. What did you learn? I mean, looking back on that experience, I've learned not to do this, or I've learned to do this more. And then you should also show impact. If you're telling a story, particularly, I've noticed Americans like impact that is in dollars. So I was able to extend or help secondary schools all over Lagos have computer systems, and we're able to improve performance in standardized tests by 10 percentage points, for example. So you want to be able to quantify your impact, which is very, very important. And then one other thing I'll tie into a very good story or a sophisticated essay should be, what's your value add? So based on that story, what are you bringing to the table? I